Why would the country spend its hundreds of billions of dollars in military service alone in a year? Do they have the strongest enemies or weakest allies? The United States alone spends money that is almost $600 billion on defense. However, with the record we have found that China and the US have spent more than $200 billion in military defense alone in a year, despite other countries like India, Russia, Saudi Arabia and others spending less than $100 billion. Is it to just forecast pride and power to the world, or just in order to cope the military service personnel? Let's find out. Welcome to Mega Luxury. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss amazing videos from us. So, here are the world's strongest militaries in the world. Number 15. Thailand. Thailand's military is currently in control of the country following a coup in May 2014. The military is a major player in maintaining Thai unity, and Thailand receives strong scores from its number of active personnel, tanks of 722, and its possession of an aircraft carrier with 573 aircrafts. Thailand also scores well as it has an aircraft carrier, although it does not have an aircraft fleet to complement the vessel. With over 300,000 active frontliners in the country, it spends $5.4 billion in the country's defense. Number 14. Israel. In absolute terms, Israel has a small military, but with mandatory military service, a large percentage of the Israeli population is military ready. With a past history of being surrounded by aggressive neighbors, Israel also has a large tanks, aircrafts and attack helicopter fleets. Israel also has qualitative military of active 160,000 personnel. It has space assets, advanced fighter jets, high-tech armed drones and nuclear weapons. However, Israel spends $17 billion in its defense. Number 13. Taiwan. Threatened by China, which continues to have plans for how to invade and retake the country, Taiwan has focused its military development and defensive plans. With over 290,000 personnel, 2,005 tanks, 804 aircrafts, the island has the 5th highest number of attack helicopters in the list. Taiwan manages to come up with $10.7 billion for its military support over the years. Number 12. Egypt. The Egyptian military is one of the oldest and largest armed forces in the Middle East. It receives substantial financial aid from the US and has the 5th largest tank fleet in the world. It has over 1,000 M1A1 Abraham tanks with altogether over 4,500 tanks, many of which sit in storage and have never been used. The country has 468,500 active military personnel who are in line with over 11,000 aircrafts and 4 submarines to be used in need. Egypt has over $4.4 billion for its military purpose aside. Number 11. Pakistan. The Pakistani military is one of the largest forces in the world in terms of active personnel. The active frontline personnel is 617,000 with 2,924 tanks, 914 aircrafts and 8 submarines. The country has large fleets of tanks, aircrafts and attack helicopters. In addition, Pakistan is thought to be building nuclear weapons at a fast enough rate that it could have the world's 3rd largest nuclear arsenal within the following decade. However, the country is spending its tight budget of around $7 billion in its military growth. Number 10. Turkey. Turkey's armed forces are one of the largest in the Eastern Mediterranean. Although lacking an aircraft carrier, only 5 countries on this list have more submarines than Turkey. Turkey has 13 submarines, 1,020 aircrafts, along 3,778 tanks in total, along with active 410,500 military troops. In addition, the country can lay claim to an impressively large tank fleet as well as numerous aircraft and attack helicopters as you have seen. The country has spent $18.2 billion for its defense. Turkey is also a committed member of the F-35 program. Number 9. United Kingdom. The UK has a budget of $60.5 billion for the country's security. Although the UK is planning to reduce the size of its armed forces by 20% between 2010 and 2018, it can count on being able to project its power around the world. The Royal Navy is planning to put the HMS Queen Elizabeth, an aircraft carrier that has a flight deck measuring 4.5 acres, in 2020, carrying 40 F-35B Joint Strike Fighters across the globe. The Royal has almost 145,000 troops, 936 aircrafts and 407 tanks in operation today. Number 8. Italy. The Italian military placed highly good credit due to the country's possession of 2 active aircraft carriers. These carriers, in addition to the country's relatively large submarine and attack helicopter fleets, drastically boosted Italy's ranking. With active frontline personnel of 320,000, almost $34 billion alone left for military service in the country. Number 7. South Korea. South Korea has been left with little choice but to have a large and capable military in the face of political North Korean aggression. With those realities in mind, South Korea has 13 submarines, attack helicopters and active personnel of almost 625,000, with over 2,300 tanks and 1,414 aircrafts in service today. The 7th largest air force in the world, almost spent $62.3 billion over the years. Number 6. France. The French military is relatively small but highly trained, professional and capable of force projection. France has set almost $62.3 billion for its military. The country has the nearly new aircraft carrier, the Charles de Gaulle, total aircraft of 1,264 and tanks of 423. France routinely engages in military deployments throughout Africa to help stabilize the government and fight against extremism. France has a total active frontline personnel of 202,761 in service. Number 5. India. India is one of the largest military powers on the planet. It has the most active manpower of any country aside from China and the US, in addition to the most tanks and the aircrafts of any country beside the US, China or Russia. Total number of tanks counts 6,464, total aircraft counts 1,905 and total submarines counts 15, with a total active military personnel of 1.3 million. India also has access to nuclear weapons. It is expected to become the 4th highest military spender on early 2022, with just over $50 billion over the years. Number 4. Japan. Japan spends around $41.6 billion in military support, and no doubt how strong the country is in terms of power and forces. But in absolute terms, the Japanese military is relatively small. Nonetheless, the country is extremely well equipped. According to the Credit Suisse, it has the 4th largest submarine fleet in the list of 16 marines, 1,613 aircrafts flying over, and 648 tanks rolling. Japan also has 4 aircraft carriers, although these vessels are only equipped with helicopter fleets. Japan also has the 4th largest attack helicopter fleet behind China, Russia and the US, with the active frontline personnel counts on 247,173 in total. Number 3. China. The Chinese military has grown rapidly in terms of both size and capability in the past few decades. In terms of raw manpower, it's the largest military in the world, totaling 2,333,000 military troops in service. It also has the 2nd largest tank fleet behind Russia and the 2nd largest submarine fleet behind the US. The total of 2,860 aircraft and over 9,000 tanks can run instantly. China had spent $216 billion and has also made a rapid stride in its military modernization program, now developing a range of potentially game-changing military technologies including ballistic missiles and 5th generation aircrafts. Number 2. The Russian armed forces are undoubtedly the 2nd strongest military power in the world. Russia has the world's largest tank fleet with 15,398 in number, the 2nd largest aircraft fleet behind the US, which counts 3,429, and the third largest submarine fleet behind the US and China, that is 55 in number. The military spending has increased by almost a third since 2008 and is expected to grow 44% more in the next 3 years. Russia has also demonstrated its ability to project force abroad with its deployment of soldiers to Syria and also currently happening Ukraine invasion. Russia still spends 84.5 billion over the years intact in service over the years to come. Number 1. United States of America. Despite sequestration and other spending cuts, the United States spends more money, that is almost $601 billion on defense. America's biggest conventional military advantage is its fleet of 10 aircraft carriers. The US leads by far the most aircraft of any country, with the number of aircraft of 13,892 and 8,848 tanks line up along with a total 72 submarines ready to take action. No wonder how much money is needed to run just a military service in a year. The US also has cutting-edge technology like the Navy's new railgun, a large and well-trained human force, and that's not even counting the world's largest nuclear arsenal. So, if you like this kind of video, then let us know in the comments below. Also, I'm sure you're going to love to watch our video about world's top advanced aircraft carriers on our channel. Make sure to click the subscribe button for the future notification and never miss our video. Thank you for watching and we will see you in the next video. Till then, stay tuned.